Hello everybody and welcome back to another weekly recap where I'm going to be going over anything related to the old school RuneScape community this week. Now this week we got a bunch of quality of life changes as well as some tweaks to the new nightmare weapons. It's kind of funny, like every minor tweak to the new weapons severely affects the price of the arcane spirit shield. That thing is just going up and down all the time. And on top of that, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the money dupe glitch from I guess kind of last week now, but I never got around to talking about it. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the server issues this week, as well as anything else related to the community, as well as we'll be doing a recap of the Q&A. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and let's get started. Okay, so to begin with here, we have a bunch of quality of life changes. Most of them passed from the last poll, but not all of them. I'll have a quick look for that after to see which ones actually did fail. Okay, so first up here we have a quality of life change to the Mage Training Arena shop interface. The new interface has been updated to include quantity buttons for buying multiple items. I guess for the runes, as I don't think it's a big issue for buying the infinity items or the mage's book. I don't think there's someone who's just like, oh man, I have so many points. It takes too long to buy all these master wands. Next up here we have another interface change for Puro. The Impling Exchange has now been updated. It now features better use of the space available and a confirmation button that reminds you what you're purchasing. I wonder if that has improved the money making method where you exchange Impling jars there. I'd be kind of interested to know. Okay, next up here we have a change to the jewelry box. You can now teleport to the previous destination by either right clicking or long pressing the jewelry box in your POH. So for skilling methods that heavily rely on your POH teleports, that's going to be very useful. So if you're constantly using the exact same teleport, this quality of life change is really going to help out. Another really interesting one is now there is a voting section in the account management tab. The account management tab has been updated to include a polling interface. This interface shows you when a poll is active, lets you view poll archives, and lets you vote from anywhere in the game. You can still use the poll booths across Gielinor if you prefer to vote the good old-fashioned way. I'm pretty happy with this change because there's no reason to have to go to a poll booth besides it kind of being cute and thematic. And I do like that it shows if there's an active poll, as well as being able to view the poll history is going to be really nice. Let's actually use that feature right now to go look at the poll and see which ones ended up failing. Okay, that's good. Pretty much all of the other quality of life changes did end up passing. The only thing that didn't really pass was the beginner clue scroll change to add water, earth, fire, mind, and body talismans to it, and the ability to rearrange your prayer icon. Okay, one thing I kind of find really funny is the Dragonstone armor poll. We voted to keep it pretty much the same. After all of that complaining, in my opinion, I thought option A looked the worst and most like the original design. But you know what, I don't really care about it too much, just to kind of find it funny myself. A really nice change that the web team ended up finally pushing through is there is now a boss kill count on the high score page, so players can now compete for the highest KC of certain bosses, which I think is going to be very nice. Okay, so there are some fairly major changes to the new Nightmare reward items, and they'll be live in the new beta, so if you want to try out the updated version of the item. So the beta worlds are still active. They're going to be world 446, 464, and 477. So there have been a few changes today, as well as a few other ones made earlier this week. Most of them are nerfs, specifically to the Sirens tome, as well as the new mage weapon. So first up here, the staff will now have a hit points requirement of 50 to wield it. That was a common complaint. The special attack on the volatile nightmare staff has been increased to 55% so that you can't spec out people twice, which again is kind of fair because the nightmare staff has a pretty high max hit. The magic attack on the Siren's Tome has been lowered to 15 from 25, and the magic defense has been lowered to 15 from 20. On top of another nerf that happened earlier this week, the Siren's Tome is a lot weaker than originally proposed, like a lot weaker. I'm sure it's still going to be pretty strong and viable, but I'm just surprised that it had those stats to begin with, really. Now on top of that, the Inquisitors armor set now has actually negative magic bonuses where previously it had positive or neutral bonuses, so that is more in line with other armors. Now one big change of the Siren's Tome is now you have to attach it to a mage's book, and that is why I went and looked at the mage's book on GE Tracker, and it's gone up by like 2 or 3 mil already. It's crazy. I bet the mage's book is going to increase a lot because they're not very quick to obtain. So like I mentioned, there were a few other nerfs earlier this week. The slash, stab, crush, and ranged values on the Siren's Tome has been lowered to -10, so it's going to provide negative melee bonuses. And most notably, the magic percent damage on the Siren's Tome has been reduced to 4%, and it was previously 10%, so a very big nerf. And another important change is the base damage for the Volatile Orb and the Eldritch Orb now scales with the player's magic level. So the max hit of the Volatile special attack is now capped at 58 before magic damage bonuses, and the max hit of the Eldritch Orb is now capped at 44. So a ton of changes to the new weapons, I think probably overall good. I wasn't totally convinced that they were going to pass in their current state, but now it seems a bit more likely. And last up here, a minor change to Twisted League. You no longer have to claim points when you earn them. So that button is completely gone now. And last up here, there's another update on the point distribution to show how many points you need for each tier. Dragon tier is currently 9.9k points. And that is it for today's game update. Okay, so next up here, I want to go over a bit of community news. And what better place to look for news than the 2007 Scape Reddit. Let's go have a quick look here. Wow, look at that. Some guy edited a mole and called it the Burroughs Brothers. That's actually, that's pretty funny. Oh, Reddit, you crack me up. Oh, look at that. Someone edited a mole onto coal. Because, you know, mole and coal sound the same. Absolutely hilarious. Okay. Well, fuck, it's all moles. Well, that's it for news this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye. Okay, in all seriousness, there is a little bit of community news. So we're going to go over that right now. But it's mostly moles. I'm not lying about that. Now, first up here, there's a bit of a schedule change as far as the Q&A as well as the next game update. The Q&A is actually happening right now as I'm recording this, so we'll go ahead and watch it after and just pick out a few interesting parts of it, as well as the next game update is going to be on Wednesday, not Thursdays, so just a minor change there. Okay, one thing I am personally really excited about, now this isn't set in stone in any way, but there was a tweet related to the Orb of Oculus. For those who don't know, the Orb of Oculus is a kind of original JMod tool that allows you to move around the game in a cinematic way. Although you may have noticed those shots in my video, I actually don't have the Orb of Oculus. I actually had to compile a version of RuneLite myself just to use that feature as part of RuneLite, but I would prefer to have the Orb of Oculus personally, so if any JMods watching this, get at me. I did apply for one a while ago, but never got it. But anyway, someone suggested that they put the Orb of Oculus in the beta or tournament worlds, which Mod Ash said, as long as it doesn't mess up the beta world, I'd be fine with that. Keep an eye on Diango next update. That's where it would likely go if we can. I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen, but that would be very nice. Although tournament worlds aren't really around all the time, so it's not a permanent solution. So let's talk a bit about server issues this week. Personally, I've had a fair number of issues. There was one night where I almost couldn't play. I'm located on the west coast of North America, and it seems to be localized in certain areas worse than others. Some people haven't experienced any server instability, and other people have experienced a lot. Now, a lot of people are attributing the server instability to people attempting to dupe money, and I didn't really talk about that much last week. Now, just to summarize, there was an exploit in the game which is now patched that allowed the potential for items to duplicate when servers crashed, and now that that information is more public, potentially more people are trying to crash the server to duplicate gold or items. That is one theory. It could just be a coincidence. Server issues happen periodically, so hopefully they go ahead and get that fixed. And last up here, there was a tweet from the Old School RuneScape Twitter that says the group Eyerman is expected late 2020, which means it's probably going to be the last update of the year, so don't expect it too soon for anyone who is hyped about it. Gonna have to wait a bit longer. Okay, and last up here, I'm going to be going over this week's Q&A. Now, first up here, next game update is going to be the last game update until most likely January 9th. Now, essentially what that means is there is going to be no more changes to Twisted League beyond bug fixes or very necessary change. Now, first up here, we have some league questions. Is there any word on how often leagues will take place? They said they haven't really decided how often leagues are going to happen, but they have noted that they were surprisingly popular. However, they don't want to overload us with leagues. They mentioned that 4 per year would probably be too much, so they're probably leaning to maybe 2 a year or even 1, who knows. They do take a lot of dev time, and it will make it so people aren't playing the main game for long periods of time. Could we see a group Eyerman beta as part of a league? They said they do like the idea of a beta, however they're not fond of it being in a competitive environment, and they think it should be separate if at all. What is going to be the fate of Twisted League rewards? So one thing they've noted is they didn't really establish whether some of the rewards would be discontinued or not. They are talking about the untradable items. The tradable items are going to work with scrolls. So for example, you're going to get a tradable scroll that you redeem on your account, and you will receive the reward, and it won't be tradable after. Uncut onyxes have dropped severely from 3 to 2 mil, and chaos runes have crashed as well. Profitability from Zulrah is down. Are you thinking of nerfing Zulcano drops to help with this. They haven't really made any decisions on this yet, but they will make the devs aware of it. Can you change this Arachnus spawn from 30 seconds to 10? Initially it was supposed to have a short spawn, so they're not really sure why that didn't end up happening. For example, could you have your inventory and prayer open at the same time on mobile? Yes, it is possible, but it may not be entirely balanced having two screens open at once, and it wouldn't really fit on the desktop as well. Looting bags are locked behind Bounty Hunter 2. Can we have the option to buy the looting bag back again? They said no, you should just be killing higher level monsters. Could you roll out small changes to the clan system as they become available? No, they would prefer to do one big update because people haven't really reacted well to phased updates in the past. And last up here, are there any plans for Raids 3? They said not in the immediate future, but they are aware that people do want it in Menethos, so it is on the table for a fair bit in the future. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for this week's update. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I would appreciate it if you left the video a like, and I will see you next time.